as we go into class 5, guys, I think this class is pretty interesting because unlike the last couple, I don't know that there's been one in here to really grab a hold of and just run with in terms of being really well presented and really cool looking and really heavy muscled. So you got to find the one that has the least holes in it. And we settle on the 2 hog, the calico hog. And I'll be the first to tell you, if we give this one a clip job and sign this one up just a nickel, I think it makes our job a little easier, to be honest with you. This one has the least holes. The number 2 hog and the 1 hog both have muscle and power. Both are pried open enough. I think the 2 is just more structurally sound. This one just has less holes. I think specifically it's square from hip to hug to ground than the 1 barrel. And it's just more flexible and comfortable when it goes. Now the 1 barrel, props to that young man. That thing's clipped and shined up and he does a good job showing it. The barrel is big, outlined and extended. I think the issue comes there is simply when you get behind him, he struggles too much off his rear too. Once the bow is high, can hit outside of himself. One that's got enough muscle and power and fat. One we've got to make structurally. He's just got to make that one a little better. The one that goes in 3rd and 4th, and that's going to be the 4 and the 3 hog. 4 is going to stick 3rd. Both of these hogs are made similar. 4 and 3 both are. I think they're both hogs that have a lot of muscle. They have some power. They have some center body. Both of those hogs need to be backed off in terms of fat and cover. Both of those hogs, in my mind, are just a bit too juicy. They need some bark pulled off of them. And I think when you pull that bark off of them, 4 is just naturally wider and more expressive. I think that one has more dimension of true muscle. Again, we've got to pull a little bit of chub off those 2, but certainly nice hogs. To roll down into 5th is going to be the 6 barrel. He's competitive with the 2 in front of him because he's trimmer. He's trimmer through his jowl. Specifically, he's trimmer through his lower 1/3 of his body and from his sheath back. He's got a lot less jiggle than the 2 in front of him. But I think when you look at that guy, he's a narrow gauge, narrow base one. And when we go ahead and pull fat off all 3 of them, I think he's the narrowest based and has the least muscle. He'll stick in 5th. And then the one that's going to close the door, Hereford Barra, really sound and good made. Nothing wrong with the way that one's made in terms of just being sound and practical and big enough rib. Things grown well. Looks like he's put some fat on well. We got to give that guy more muscle. Off either end of his skeleton, we got to base him wider. We got to make him stouter in his bone work. But a nice class. Certainly an interesting one. These last 2 have been interesting to sort.